Hello,
Good morning.
welcome. We're so excited. Christmas in August.
Yay.
Yay. Um, so this is our OND success plan. Um, Today we're going to talk about how the producers that have the strongest O&D season are not necessarily the ones offering the biggest discounts, but they're the ones who have their products, their marketing, their website, their inventory, and everything planned out and ready before October. It's kind of crazy to be thinking about the end of the year right now, but if you are, you're setting yourself up for a successful O&D. And if you're not, then you're going to be scrambling last minute. And nobody likes to do that. So, believe me, I know all about that. So today we're going to kind of walk through sort of holidays, but backwards and give you kind of a full timeline. As we walk through this today, we will ask you to put in your questions in the Q&A box that is at the bottom of your Zoom screen. There is also a chat, so you can drop it in there. Either way, we'll be monitoring that throughout the session today. We'll also have like a Q&A at the end. So if you have specific questions, we'll be happy to kind of walk through those. But we want to just sort of really jump right in. Um, Sorry, one second. Adrian, did you drop me the workbook or am I crazy?
Should be in your Slack messages.
Okay. Sorry, one sec.
It's the bottom of the last DM from Adrian.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. I am going to share my screen here and we're going to just like hop right into this. Okay, so we made a really kind of fun workbook, and we are going to share this with you after. We'll email it to you. This is kind of breaking down the holidays. So, um, if you go all the way to the bottom, we're at the end of the year and working kind of backwards, giving you specific dates that you should be mindful of. Again, this is sort of just a template. You can change this for dates that make sense for you, for your marketing. You might be running wine clubs this time of the year, so everything might sort of kind of skew a little bit for you based on what you guys do. But we wanted to give you something that you could have as a takeaway that you could use for, planning, thinking about cutoffs. There is shipping cutoffs so that you can make sure you get that shipment in time for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or Hanukkah. You want to kind of really think about those things in advance. So this should really, I think, help you. I think this is a really useful thing. So we've made a start here. So there's a couple different tabs. This kind of teaches you how to use the workbook. Then there is the master timeline. Again, you can change any of these dates. You can change the deadline or the action. This is really just meant to be, again, like a template for you. We have an O&D calendar that also reflects these deadlines. There is a worksheet for you that you can use to put in your campaigns, your events, the dates that you would like to do them. What I also think is really great about this, and again, it's going to depend on kind of your setup, but if you have, team members, you can assign some of these projects to specific team members. If you're a one-man show, you might be doing a lot of this yourself, but um, it's kind of meant to be broken up so that rather than looking at this huge picture and being overwhelmed, it's kind of like smaller, actionable items that you can do. And I think that makes it a lot less overwhelming. And then at the end is our shipping cutoff calculator. Now, something to keep in mind is UPS doesn't give us their actual cutoff deadlines until much later. They're not like us, they're not planning ahead. But because of years past, we can kind of estimate what those are going to be. So these might change just a tiny bit, but I think these are pretty safe cutoffs for you to keep in mind. Um, so I'm really excited about this. I think, again, too, you can remove things out of here. Like maybe not everything makes sense for you. So you want to delete some stuff. But I think having at least, five or six kind of actionable items throughout the season is at least something, depending on your business, you might have a much larger plan, or if you again are like a one-man show, maybe it's only reasonable for you to do three or four of these things. You got to kind of figure out what works best for you, but I definitely think you will want to do something. Um, so that I'm really excited about. Um, Another thing to kind of think about is what's going on locally for you. So maybe where you live, there's like a holiday fair that you can get involved in, some sort of festival, some sort of local events. I think the more you can tie in with what's happening around you, you might not get the same shipping customers, but for those local pickup customers and things, really getting into your community, I think is something that is really helpful as well. Um, so yeah, that I'm really excited about.
This is
I
really
hope.
cool. This is really helpful, I think.
Yeah, I think, when you look at the big picture and you can't break it down into things, it's can be kind of scary. So we really want
Totally.
to kind of make it into, again, like action items that you can manipulate to make sense for you. So I'm pretty stoked on this. I think this is really cool. Um, All right. So once you've kind of got your holiday calendar kind of situated and you've got some ideas, another thing that you really want to think about is, your products that you have. So are all your products that you're going to be offering entered into Vino Shipper? Are they approved? Do you have your cola IDs? Like, all of these things, if you have all of these great intentions, but maybe you haven't registered your products in the right states, if you're shipping to like New Jersey, for example, that requires label registration, if you haven't done that, you're kind of, you're not there yet. So thinking about those compliance surprises that could maybe pop up. Um, Also, is your inventory accurate? Of course, many people do their inventory at the end of the year, but maybe it's a good time, now, August, to kind of do a quick inventory refresh and see what you have. Maybe you're sitting on, a vintage that's a couple years old at this point that, hey, maybe that would be a great product for me to put into a holiday bundle so I can move that. Look at what you really have. And then think about how you can build that into your offering. The customer doesn't know that this is something you're sitting on and you're trying to move. To them, they're like, that's a great library wine that I can get as a gift for somebody. So thinking of using those kind of action items as a tactic to move some of your inventory, I think is also really smart. Um, Also, are all of your available states enabled? So maybe you're new to Vino Shipper, or maybe you've been working with Vino Shipper for a while and you didn't realize that there was a handful of states that need label registration. Or maybe you are just started with us and you haven't turned on your home state with us. There's some things that you're going to want to look at and see, what states am I able to ship to? If you've ever been in a meeting with me, this is one of the first things I like to look at with people is if you go to the account drop down and go to profile, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page here, this is where you can see the states that are enabled for you. So if there's a very obvious state that you're like, hey, I have a lot of customers in that state, but I don't see it on here, maybe it needs label registration. So this is a good time to do an audit of that as well and see, if everything's enabled. Of course, there are a few handful of states that you can't ship to, but otherwise, if you're missing a state here that you would like to ship to and you have a question about it, you can email us at customerservice@vinoshipper.com and we're happy to discuss whether you can ship there or what requirements are needed. All right. Let's see what else here. Let me move this out of my way. All righty. So next thing I want to talk about, and this is probably sort of uh an obvious kind of thing, but making gift packs. So you might want to make a multi-pack that offers maybe a wine, and also, maybe a couple bottles of wine. I like to do, where is it here? Sorry, guys, I'm a little confused. One second. Sorry here. So maybe you want to make some holiday bundles. I like doing like a holiday trio. So maybe you pick three of your new wines or your, most popular wines and you put those as a three pack, and that's an easy gift. Some people, gifting is maybe not their love language, and they would like somebody to just give them an option that's like easy. I buy that, I send it to my loved one, and I don't have to think about it. So if you can make like a holiday trio, um, another thing that I think is really interesting is we always think about sending wine. But what I think could be really great is purchasing like a private tasting experience for somebody. Maybe you offer a really nice tasting experience and somebody could buy that for someone and gift that to them. So it doesn't always just have to be wine itself. Um, but of course, we are in the alcohol business. So if you want to do like a library collection or a holiday bundle that has an alcohol product and a piece of merchandise in it, I think that can be really great. But having these products set up in Vino Shipper and then making a specific catalog, like I've made here, is my holiday offering. And then you can have this as its own landing page on your website that could be like shop our holiday shop or something. Gift options, whatever. I think making it really easy for your customer to get on and just see like what you've already pre-selected for them can really make the shopping experience easier for the customer. So
I
that's
love the
something.
idea of having the t-shirt situation with the being
Mhm.
able to pick which bottle. I love that setup.
Yeah, so we're going to walk through a product group. This is kind of a newer thing, but I'll show you from the customer perspective and then I'll show you how to build it as well. But from the customer's perspective, we have now product groups. And so this holiday bundle here has a shirt and a wine in it. And from the customer's perspective, they can come and they can select which color shirt they want, what size, and then they can choose which bottle of wine that they want to go in there.
Love it.
And so then they add that to their cart and they've got that shirt and that bottle of wine, and you receive that order, package it up, good to go. So easy on you and easy on the customer. To set those up, I'm going to walk you through it quickly because this is sort of a new thing that we have. Sorry, I have a new kitten and it's crazy. Um, so you're going to go to your product list and you're going to do add product, product group. I think naming it something fun is also kind of cool. So I'm going to make one today that's for a host gift, let's say. And I'm going to call it host gift wine. So I know what this is. Um, so the attribute is going to be like the size, maybe a varietal, something like that. So for here, I'm going to do varietal as my attribute. And my value is going to be, I'm going to do a couple different varietals. So I'm going to do Chardonnay, Merlot, and Cabernet. Oh, and we do have a help doc on this that can walk you through this as well. So my attribute is a varietal and my value is the different varietal options. And then I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to choose the product that goes for each option essentially. So I'm going to look up my Chard, my Merlot, and my Cab. And I can pick which year. And then I'm going to click Save here. So now if I go to my product list, can you approve that for me, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Thank, thank you. And then if I go to my product list, I'm going to do add product and I'm going to do a multi-pack. And this is my host gift. Um, perfect for hosts, whatever.
Remember to
Um,
gift those hosts.
yeah, the sensitive subject around here. And then I'm gonna add to this, I'm gonna add my host, the host gift wine. And then I'm also going to add the candle. Okay. And then my regular settings, I'm going to save that now. And so now the customer will be able to choose the bottle of wine that goes with the candle. And so now I'm going to go to my catalogs and I have created a holiday offering. I'm going to add that host gift to my catalog. And then I'm going to give you, whoops. And I'm going to give you a quick little demo of what that looks like. So now I have my catalog with my host gift. And so it has the candle in it, but they are able to select which bottle of wine went with that.
Such a great idea.
Yeah. So I think like making, and sometimes they feel a little obvious, like a library collection, like these things, like it might be a little obvious to you, but it's very special to your customers. So doing something like that, I think can be really great. I also think doing, maybe a virtual tasting or
Mhm.
experience packages, the more creative you can be, and these can be new offerings, maybe you do something, traditionally in tasting rooms, kind of OND is actually sort of slow for tasting rooms. So maybe you think of a new tasting experience that you can bring to bring in new customers during the winter season, I think could be very interesting. So just kind of thinking outside of the box. Also looking at local vendors, like maybe there's a great cheese shop down the road with you that might be interested in doing like a pairing so you can, offer some of their cheese with your wine or some chocolate or, you know, again, thinking of what's kind of makes you unique or maybe where you're located unique and leaning into that, I think can be really interesting. Um, all right. Um, so in this kind of same vein, getting your website holiday ready, I think is really important. So making a specific landing page for these holiday catalog that you're creating, adding a banner, so an announcement, and you can build an announcement in Vino Shipper. I'll show you in just a sec how you do that. But I think kind of drilling down the shipping deadlines in the announcement is what I would have for the O&D season. Um, we all have those customers who order last minute and then are like, why didn't it get here on time? So the more you can drill that into your messaging to them, I think it just covers you a little bit. And building that announcement within Vino Shipper is quite easy. One thing to think about the announcement right now, though, is the announcement will be um, kind of global on your shop page. So your holiday shipping deadlines, um, and I think it's fine, but that will apply to the entire kind of scope of your website. Out, out. So sorry. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
She can't wait for school to start.
Kids are running wild at the end of summer.
The kids are wild at the end of summer. It's so true. I love your outfit, Melissa.
6 days till the school year. So sorry. Okay, so yeah, thinking of those shipping deadlines, I think is really important. Also, any gift message instructions that you might have. So you can make a $0 digital product in Vino Shipper that could be a gift note. So when somebody's adding wine or something, you could make a product that is, again, a $0 product, but it would be a gift note. And then the customer could let you know what they want in that gift note. So, like, thinking of ways to just kind of maybe elevate your experience. Maybe you want to get some new like tissue paper that you're going to roll the bottles in or something to kind of just make it feel a little more special during OND, I think is also important. Um, Obviously, the packaging for wine is not like the most beautiful thing in the world, but if you can kind of add a little bit of nice touches to it, just make it feel a little more like a present, I think is really nice.
A little tissue wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to love wrapping the bottles in tissue. And I mean, there's no scientific back to this, but I think they just look better and maybe they're a little tiny bit safer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, but also making your pickup option easy to understand. So if you have, pickup available in your web checkout, giving your customers an idea. So within Vino Shipper on your pickup orders, come on, within your pickup orders, you can do a pickup process. So maybe you're only open for pickups on the weekend or you're closed on Mondays or something. Making that messaging very clear here, I think is also important. We're all stressed at the end of the year. So giving even your customer like a very clear messaging of when they can pick things up, I think is really important. Um, Another thing to think about is planning your promotions without discounting everything. I think that is somewhere where we all kind of get into this idea of like, I have to discount, I have to discount. If you are creative with these, multi-packs or product groups, you can override the price in the multi-pack. So when you make a multi-pack, you can override the price a little so that it does seem like they're getting a discount without giving them a massive
Yeah.
discount. Um, so when you make a multi-pack, once you start adding products to a multi-pack, let me just add a couple real quick so I can show you. You can do a custom price. So maybe these bottles are usually 100, but for the two, you want to do, you know, buy both of them, you get 150. So if you do a custom price here, you can change that to 75, 75. Um, and so yeah, you are giving a
That shows,
discount.
does that show the discount on the catalog?
It shows the price slashed out, yes.
Hmm.
So that's a way, I mean, you are discounting, but like you don't need to do like 30% off everything. You can do your selected products, make them into a multi-pack. And this is where honestly I would do those wines that maybe I'm sitting on and I would
Hmm.
offer them at a special price. Um, I know when I was in tasting rooms, often library wines got more expensive every year, that they had aged.
Yeah.
Um, but we were sitting on them. So maybe you, for the holidays, you offer them at their like original retail price could be interesting, I think, and make that like, you're getting these library wines at, you know, what would you call it? Like current release price could be
Hmm.
interesting. Um, so I think there's a lot of ways to kind of do perceived discounts without slapping like 30% off of everything. I think that is something I would avoid a little bit. What I would probably do is offer maybe a touch of a shipping discount at the end of the year, because so many people are shipping, nowadays almost everybody orders all their Christmas gifts off like Amazon or online or whatever. So if you can offer a tiny bit of a shipping discount or, buy 6 bottles and you get a discount on shipping, something like that, I think could be a little bit of an incentive, but I wouldn't just start like slashing everything just because it's the end of the year. Um, what else? Oh, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. We get hammered by all the big box stores about those things. I mean, I think it's so funny because every year I get 47 emails from Home Depot about Black Friday. And then on Saturday, I don't hear anything. But then Cyber Monday again, it's like 47 more emails from Home Depot. I think really leaning into like, I don't want to hear from Home Depot. I would much rather hear from a winery or, a mead company that's giving me these offers. That would be a lot more exciting. So I think kind of leaning into those corporate kind of things, but making a fun offering that's more exciting to see in your inbox could be really fun. And then early shopping incentives, I also think could be interesting. So, maybe you want to do something where it's like, get your holiday shopping done early and you do a discount in the month of October, or you do a special offering and it's like get your list crossed off early. I think that could be very interesting.
And we have in our checkout that you can request what day you want something to ship. So they could even say, like, I'm buying this in October and set the ship date to, a date that's before Christmas or Thanksgiving so it delivers on time.
Yeah. And what you can also do is do discounts based on effective dates so that you're not having to come in and turn them on and off kind of thing. So if you wanted to make an automatic discount, let's say for the week of Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, that whole like week, you could create a discount and under criteria here, you can select the effective dates. And so you could set this up now and it's set it and forget it. When that date comes on, this discount will be available and you're not having to manage it. So again, this kind of harks back to the holiday planning workbook. Like maybe you want to be one of your action items is, in the next 2 weeks, you go through and make some discounts by effective dates and you have that crossed off. You don't have to think about that again. So that's really interesting. I think again, just kind of preparing, thinking about what you want to offer, and then trying to like set this all up now. So, I mean, most of you are probably from wineries. You're about to be getting into harvest season. Like things are going to start getting crazy for you. So, the more you can do and not have to think about really once we're in October, November, I think is the really big point that I want to drive home is just, make your own life a little easier. I'm wondering if I can't see, do we have any questions in the Q&A before we like keep rambling?
We have one question, and I hadn't brought it up yet because I was working through to make sure that we could do it how I wanted to say we could do it. So I'm happy to walk through this one. Mike said, can we create a holiday trio that the customer chooses the wine? I will also write down the steps once I've completed speaking them. But generally, the idea is yes, you can do that. So you would have like a 3 pack, but the customer gets to choose all 3 wines. What you would do is you would create a product group that has all of the wines that you would like to let them choose from. Melissa, I have one in there called uh, PG1 for multi-packs.
Okay.
So you would create a product group that has all of the items that you would like to offer. So here I just put in 4 options. And then you would create a multi-pack that had that same product group in it 3 times.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Okay. I can
so
show them how to
Melissa,
do that quickly. Yep.
I also have a multi-pack in there called multi-pack test.
She's fast, this girl.
I know, it's so creative with the
It's
names.
the very bottom
I
one.
know.
Here
What
we
an
go.
amazing, what
I
an
know.
amazing name.
And so
Uh,
in here, you can see that the pack contents is three of those product groups. And then when you add this multi-pack onto your website, they can go through and choose each one of those items.
yeah, so essentially, this product is a placeholder for them to choose. So, yeah, exactly. So this will sit, and then they pick wine one, then they pick wine two, and they pick wine three. And you could give them as many options as you wanted, honestly. You
Yeah.
could, yeah. Um, I think that could be a really fun way to do like a library offering too.
Mhm.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of times when you got a library offering, it's like 2019, 2020, 21, all cab. But what if you wanted to do a library offering that was like a 2019 Merlot and a 2020 cab? And
Mhm.
so yeah, it gives people, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun setting these up.
Yeah.
Adrian and I played with it the other day, and it was sort of like Inception. We're like, how many times can we put the product group into the multi-pack and then the like it's sort of a fun thing to play with and see like what you can do. I
Mhm.
think it's really, yeah.
And then we do have a follow-up question on that, which is, would the prices change in the multi-pack depend? Yeah, would the prices change in the multi-pack depending on what was chosen, or would it be a set price for the pack? The multi-pack would change price depending on the
Yeah,
chosen items.
unless you did a custom price.
Right.
You could override and do a custom price.
So if
Yeah.
you wanted the pack to always cost $100 and you had your three wines in it, and no matter what you picked, it was always $100, you could set it for that too if you wanted to.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool way to do it too.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah. I think with the library wine, what I always think about with library wine is talking about how it's tasting great now. So it's like a don't save this anymore, drink it now. And when we
Drink
talk about
now.
a sale is not finished until the wine hits the recycling box. So,
Hmm.
you want people to drink this wine. So I think that's a big bonus of the library that you can talk about is like this wine is drinking great now, perfect now, drink it now, drink it with the holidays, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And something else that could be really fun to do for that kind of thought is maybe do like a little recipe card that comes with the wine.
Mm.
My mom was in the wine business my whole life, and on their club releases, they used to always have a little recipe card that came with the wine. I thought that was super interesting. They had a shareholder that was a chef, and so they just made it every time, like whatever the little recipe was, and then they printed it out. It wasn't anything like crazy elaborate, but still
I
something
think
fun.
that was
Like,
something that was like very popular in the 90s and then has kind of gone away. But
mhm.
everything that was cool in the 90s is cool again. So I bet people would really like that again.
Yeah, and like, who doesn't want an idea for what to make for dinner? Like,
For
seriously,
real.
I
That's
hate
true.
thinking about what I have to make for dinner. If somebody gives me a good idea, I'm like, great, we're making that. Like, I love it. So, yeah, so I just think like, yeah, like it doesn't always have to be something elaborate, It could be something simple.
Yeah.
And that's also not even just an O&D, like throughout the whole year, like we all know that like the wine industry and people buying and whatever. So the more you can make things special when somebody opens like a shipment, because like if you just open a box and there's just the wine in there and then you got to recycle it, but there's no like little fun little something in there, like, you're losing the like excitement. I feel like it just takes the tiniest thing to make you happy.
Mhm.
So I love when I open a box and there's a free sticker in there. I'm like, yay, sticker. So, simple little things can really make such a big difference. Um, in that same world, preparing for shipping and fulfillment. So looking at your wine inventory is important, but also maybe you need to go out to, your shed or your storage place and look at, do I have boxes? Do I have inserts? Do I have 21 and up stickers? Do I have everything that I need? Um, If not, good time to start ordering. You don't want to be ordering those things at the last minute. So maybe you put in a little bit of a heftier order than you normally would, so that you're prepared for the rest of the year. Um, the other thing I would think about is like if you want to do specific gift packaging. Again, a little expensive, but you can get custom boxes built if you want to do a very specific offering and have it a lot prettier than your normal shipper. Um, so that's something you could think of. But if you are going to do like some sort of elaborate packaging that's obviously going to be costing you money, I would set up packaging fees. So if you don't already have packaging fees set up, this is something I would think about for OND season. So if you go to the product drop down and go to shipping and packaging and click on packaging fee here, you can charge a packaging fee. Now, something to keep in mind about this is you must set a packaging fee per bottle box. So maybe you only have 6 bottle boxes, let's say. You still want to set up a packaging fee for the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bottle box, because if somebody buys 5 bottles of wine and you're going to put it in a 6 bottle box, but you don't have the packaging fee set for 5 bottle box, it's not going to charge the packaging fee. So you want to set it up for everything. I always tell people here, and this is, up to you. I wouldn't go super crazy with the packaging fee because it's going to go one of two ways. Either you're going to have the packaging fee as its separate line item, or you can include it into the shipping charge. But if you make like a very expensive packaging fee and somebody goes to check out and their shipping charge is astronomical, that might turn them away. So I always say be a little like reserved with your packaging fee. You might not be able to recoup the entire amount of money that you paid for that packaging material, but if you can get some of it, maybe you can get all of it, depending. But I think like doing something like $4, $4, $4, um, and then maybe you pop up to like, let's say, whoops, not 60. That would be crazy. 6, something like that's like that. And then you turn it to include the packaging charge as part of the shipping, I think is the best thing. It's not being sneaky or anything, but they don't need to know. They can know if you want them to know, but I think they don't need to know personally. Um, all this stuff, eats into your bottom line. So setting up a packaging fee, one thing to keep in mind is, and I would probably have it set for everything, but if you do set up a packaging fee because you bought like, let's say a specific gift packaging, our software is not going to be able to know that it's only for that box. So it's going to apply it to all shipments. So maybe this is something you only want to turn on during OND. You might want to set yourself a calendar reminder like October 1st, set up a packaging fee. Or maybe you want to leave it on, maybe you see that you have this packaging fee, nobody bat an eye at it, and maybe you should leave it on for the rest of the year. This is a good time to kind of test things out too and see how they work for you. Um, so let's see, next thing here. Oh, in the same kind of vein, possibly if it's starting to get later in the season, I don't think you need to necessarily do this in October, but maybe like beginning of December, maybe you want to make it so people have to do next day air. Um, Depending on where you are, you could be in Michigan and in December it's very, very cold, and you're like, look, the wine's kind of it's a little sketchy to be ground. Maybe you want to turn off ground for the month of December and only have next day air as an option. These are all things that are um, you're going to have to look at personally for your business if they make sense or not. But I do want you to know that they're available to you within Vino Shipper. You have the ability to set up this however you would like. And after this webinar, we are going to email you the workbook, and we will also send you the PDF of the 21 and up stickers that need to go on the packages. we have a PDF that you can print and you can tape onto there. Sometimes UPS takes a while to actually send the legit stickers to people. And so that PDF is nice to have. You can print it, you can tape it on, you're good to go. You don't have to worry. Um, Another thing to think about is weather holds. So again, how I was talking about next day air. If you are in Michigan or upstate New York or wherever, and it gets massively cold, you want to anticipate that you're going to have that. So maybe your cutoff shipping deadline is earlier. Maybe maybe you're not shipping at all early December and you're telling people that they need to ship at the end of November or something like that. You know, depending on where you are, you know better than I what your weather is like. Maybe you want to kind of change those dates for you. You don't have to go by our deadlines that we gave you. Oh, okay. Looks like the chat's a little active. Is this
Yeah, we have, well, some of it's like noting or meeting
okay?
notes. But I
Got
do
it.
have a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is we'd love to offer an automated subscription for OND purchases, like buy a wine of the month gift for your family. Will automated subscriptions be coming, or is producer managed releases the only option long term?
Um, so long term, I don't think it's the only option. Currently, we have the credit deposit feature. So it's kind of our version of a subscription style club. You do have to manually press the button to charge people monthly. Um, but I could literally do it in 2 seconds. I could show you how fast it is. Do we have a credit deposit product? Let's see.
Mm,
I don't even see it. No, all right. I'll set the whole thing up. I'll show you how fast this can be. So if I add a new product, I can do credit deposit. So this is my club fee, let's say. Ow. And I am going to be charging, let's say, $50. And this is up to you, your frequency, whether that's monthly, quarterly, etc. You can do all of your things here. So I save that product. And then in my club list, I can create a release. So let's imagine I already have club members in this club. I'm going to create a new release. I'm just going to select this club. Monthly subscription. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to start it today. Release date. Oh, we'll do release date today. So instead of putting in products in the club release, what I'm doing is adding that credit product that I just created. What did I call it? I don't even remember.
I think you called it club
There we go.
fee.
Credit deposit. Thank you. The memory of a goldfish. All right. So instead of putting in wine products in the release, we're putting in this club fee. So what's going to happen is it's going to charge the customer this $50. And instead of giving them a product, that $50 is going to go into their customer profile as a stored credit. And so from the customer perspective, they get charged the $50 and then they have it in their stored credit. I'm going to show you in just one sec. Hopefully one of these will go through and they don't all decline. They all declined. Uh, it's okay, I can fix it.
We do have in our Club Flow now when you sign up, you can sign up a gift membership. So and you can say how long you want it to last for. So if you wanted to sign somebody in your family up for, 3 shipments or 2 shipments, you could do that. And if you wanted to offer that as a holiday pack, you could say 3 month or 6 month subscriptions that you give to your family. What I would be cautious of when you're saying that you're going to ship wine every month is number one, most states you can't ship every month because of heat or cold. So it gets a little tricky if you're doing a monthly wine shipment because there'll be a lot of months that you can't necessarily ship. And then the other thing I would be aware of is if you have, if you're shipping one bottle to people, the cost of shipping it usually outweighs the benefit of getting it shipped. So just
Hmm.
be aware of what the parameters of like what makes sense for you to ship. If you're going to ship every month, maybe it's, 3 bottles every month. There's a minimum, I mean, shipping one bottle every month just financially doesn't usually pencil out. I do think that it's interesting to do a pickup club every month, when you have a lot of people that are your local pickup members and you have them coming in. But the truth is that they change what they want all the time. So even if they're in a subscription where they get the same 3 bottles every month, they always change it, which is why this credit deposit is, I think, a much more interesting solution because then they come in and you can say, these are the bottles that are in your shipment, but otherwise you could have this credit deposit. And when they come in, they can get whatever they want, which I think that's what everybody wants is to be able to make changes to their orders. So this is a great way to offer that.
Yeah. I also really like the idea, like, let's say you have a really cool location. Maybe you guys do live music a lot, or maybe you have like a really beautiful, like, backyard where people can come hang out or something. You can set up a club and charge like a monthly fee, and maybe it's not really like a club fee, it's more like a membership fee.
Hmm.
I like to use the country club like example. When I was a kid, my grandparents belonged at a country club and they clearly paid to be a member. But for me, I was like, everything here is free.
Hmm.
And it was so fun. And so, like, maybe you charge a membership fee, but when they come in, they get their free glass of wine or their charcuterie or whatever. Like, there's a lot of ways I think you can be thinking about how to use these. Like, we set these products up, but it's up to you to have the creativity to like how you want to use them, And I think the creativity could be endless. I mean, you can come up, we don't care what you do. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
as long as it's legal
Another
and
small
compliant.
sidebar on the subscription thing is the way that we have our club software set up, you don't have to have the customer doesn't have to be able to cancel online. So if a customer wants to cancel their subscription or their club membership, they have to email the winery and like then you have an opportunity to save that relationship and maybe not have them quit the club. If you have something that's a recurring charge every month or every quarter or whatever, if it's just scheduled as a recurring charge, you do have to have on your website legally a way for them to just cancel at any time. And so I think that creates um, creates a greater opportunity for cancellations if you're not, this is a relational business. Wine is always a relational transaction, right? So if you want to stay high touch with people, I think being able to connect with them if they're thinking about breaking a relationship with you always gives you the opportunity to save it.
And like maybe you have a club already that's got pickup members that you know in your head that these people always come in after the fact and
Hmm.
they want to change. Maybe you like make a club that is this credit deposit style subscription club, and maybe you don't even like necessarily advertise it to everyone, but this is what
Hmm.
you deal with your problem children. There's like a lot of ways that you can kind of, again, it's all about retention, but also like maybe there's people that are difficult or they whatever, and maybe this
Yeah.
is a way to like put them in their own little box that you can deal with. So that's another idea. And that same kind of comment about problem children, I want to talk about customer notes quickly because it's just coming to me is for the customer profile, you of course can do customer notes. You can do tags. So you can create a tag that could be like, and these are internal. The customer's not going to see this. And you could do something that's like, PC, problem child. You could make a tag like that and they don't know, but you know. And so when they come in and you see that tag or your team members see that tag, it's like, okay, these are people that we got to really be, high touch. Or another tag that I really like is like gluten-free or something. If you know someone's gluten-free, have that tag because maybe you have a charcuterie board and like you need to put different crackers on it or whatever. Um, the more you're really like segmenting your customers throughout the year, then your O&D is better because you can like, market to these specific groups of people. So
Mhm.
I think throughout the year, and as we're moving forward, even through O&D, start really utilizing customer notes, start utilizing tags, like really take care of things. Like the tighter in the alcohol business, it's so funny because most other businesses would like die for the amount of information we get. We have their email address, we have their birthday, their shipping address. And if you're not utilizing that, you're kind of missing the mark. I mean, you have the information that people are dying for. And so if you can segment that even more, I think this is all just like, and maybe you haven't been doing it and you're like, oh man, we really need to start, like perfect time to start,
Mhm.
you got to start somewhere. Da, da, da. All right. We talked about, let me just quickly check my notes here because I of course always get derailed. I'm like, all right. Next thing we want to talk about is corporate gifting. So we do have a corporate gifting kind of structure. So what it is essentially is you can offer corporate gifting, you can offer, it doesn't even have to just be corporate gifting. Maybe you have like a really large family and instead of buying everybody an individual gift, you're like, I want to buy everybody a bottle of wine and get them dealt with. So you can offer to your customers like basically batch ordering. Um, so they can give you the information of their, colleagues or their family that they want to send this wine to. And instead of you individually doing each order, we have a like a it's not a workbook. I guess it is a workbook. It's like a sell sheet that we can fill out and we can do this batch order for you. I don't want to show you the spreadsheet right now because it might overwhelm you a little bit, but essentially, if you want to offer corporate gifting or however you want to call it, we can do like a conversation and talk about setting it up specific to what you want to offer. I think reaching out to like local businesses and telling them that you have this option is really smart. If you, depending on where you're located, like maybe there's a really big, I don't know, there's a really big industry there where you are. Like I'm in California, so I'm thinking like Silicon Valley. Like there's nothing but huge corporations. So those are the people that I would like email and say, hey, we offer corporate gifting. Or maybe real estate agents. Real estate agents always need to give gifts.
Mhm.
Yeah, even your wine club members, like you don't know what your wine club members do for work. Maybe your wine clubber is like some high-powered attorney and he needs to send a bunch of corporate gifts. So letting them know that you offer corporate gifting. These are more ways for you to generate sales. But also I think kind of giving your customers already, like if somebody reached out to me and said like I can help you do your gifting for, I'd be like, oh, it's almost like a concierge service. I'd be so happy. I'd be like, what else can you do for me? So the more you're like letting people know what you have to offer, I think is great. So that's something we want to talk about. And if you want to do like a one-on-one, you can email customer service at vinoshipper.com and let them know that you would like to talk about corporate gifting, and we will get in touch with you directly and kind of walk you through setting that up and explaining how it all works. Oh my God, this kitten.
Let's
Um,
see it. Let's just see it.
okay, the cat will not stop, guys. I just got this cat and I like him, but he's also scratching me up terribly and not in the holiday spirit, that cat. Um, Alrighty. So kind of last thing before we do a real Q&A is, and it's gonna happen fast, but we've got basically August and September to really grow our customer list before OND. So people that come into your tasting room, and if you've been in any of my classes, you know I say this all the time. There should be no such thing as a guest customer. I understand that there are moments where, you're crazy busy and you got a guest customer and you're not capturing their information. But if you can slow down and capture their email address and their name, that's all you need. You need their email address and their name. Um, if you're using the Vino Shipper point of sale, you can capture it very quickly with the scan ID function. But even if somebody doesn't want to give you their full ID, email address and name. And you can use tactics to get it, because not everybody wants to always give you their email. Say, oh, I want to just email you your receipt. Get some tactics so that you can get that email address. You should
Mhm.
not have a guest customer right now. You want to be growing that customer list. Um, if there's any events or festivals in your town that you can get a part of, become a part of in the next, month or so to help grow your customer list, I encourage you to do that. Um, if there's some sort of, like, where I live, there's a market every Friday night. And so maybe you can't pour wine at the market, but you could go to it. I mean, it depends on where you are, if they permit it or not. But maybe you can go to it and walk around and just like mingle and let people know that, like, hey, this is what we're doing this year. We've got, these tasting experiences. You might not always be able to like pour your product, but just getting out there and letting people know, I think, is great.
Mhm.
Really driving the wine club right now, I think, is important. So, you know, selling the wine club is not just about selling wine, it's about selling the experience. If somebody's in your tasting room and having a great time and you can see that they're having fun, that's like you're in. You say, we love having you. We would like to have you part of our membership. You don't have to sell it so much. It's like it's more of the experience that people want to be a part of. And when people are having a good time, they want to recreate that. And that's the way I like to sell wine clubs. It's not so much just about, we're going to ship you wine 3 times a year. It's like, be a part of
Right.
us, be a part of what we do here. Um, this also brings me to email marketing. So, of course, Vino Shipper does not do email marketing, but we do integrate with MailChimp and Klaviyo. If you are not already integrated with MailChimp or Klaviyo, it's something that I would definitely recommend looking at. Um, they're both great platforms. Either one can work great. They both integrate great. So if you're unfamiliar, if you have a MailChimp or a Klaviyo account and you integrate it with Vino Shipper, anytime a customer comes in and you get their email address or they order online, they automatically get added to your audience. So you're not having to manually add them to your email marketing. So that's something great to think about. Um, yeah. And then using that customer segmentation. So tags, lifetime value, top customers report, all of these things. And yes, they all transfer over to MailChimp and Klaviyo, right, Tara? The
Yep.
yeah. So all of that, again, like the more you're using everything and everything's working together, it's set up in the beginning, but then once it's set up, it's like you don't really have to think about it. All of these things can
Mhm.
become automated for you.
Yeah.
You can make things really easy for yourself. Um, okay. I feel like I'm just blabbing. Is there anything? I saw the question about Ship It Easy. Ship It Easy will be putting the 21 and over
Yeah.
stickers for you. Any fulfillment house does that. Yeah. You don't need to provide that to them. Also, our shipping labels are compliant. They do say adult signature required. So, like, if you accidentally forgot to put the sticker on, like, the world's not going to come crashing down, but it's a good practice to do both. Gosh, this cat. Next time I say I'm going to get an animal, you guys tell me not to, okay? Swear. Between the kids and the cat, it's like, God. Uh, just looking through. Integrating with MailChimp has been amazing. Yes. MailChimp. So I've historically used MailChimp and I think it's really easy, but I know Klaviyo has a lot of like AI tools and automations, and it's kind of like the fancy new kid on the block. But MailChimp, I think, works great. That's what I
MailChimp
use
also
for
works
many
great. And
years.
I would say for most of our producers, MailChimp does absolutely everything you could ever need. And you can set up automations and it has a really user-friendly UI. And MailChimp's awesome. I would absolutely, everyone should be on one of those. And if you haven't used one before, MailChimp is probably the kind of not easier that you can do a lot of really complex stuff with it, but it's probably easier to get started on MailChimp.
Yeah, I think it's super user friendly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I can't say that Klaviyo's not because honestly, I haven't really used it, but you guys know how I am about like emails and stuff. And I used MailChimp and I was successful at it. Like,
Yeah.
so that's not really my yeah, expertise. And I worked great at it. So I'm really excited to see what all of you are gonna do. I think
Me
that
too.
I would love like if you set some stuff up and you're like, hey, I would love to have you look at it. Like, please email us at customerservice@vinoshipper.com. You could say, I would love to talk to Melissa. I love, love, love brainstorming and I love hearing about like what you have that makes you unique. And I'm gonna leave it with this last sentiment is in the wine business, we are all so kind of jaded because it's like it's work and whatever. But for your customers, this is special. This they don't get to see this every day. They don't get to be in this world every day. So the things that might seem like kind of, that you're used to or whatever, it's special and lean into that. And, kind of like get the wonder back into why we all started in this business to begin with?
I love
Winter
that. That's so
Wonderland,
right.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I hope that this was helpful. We will get everything put together and email it to you. I would imagine end of week-ish,
Yeah.
early next week.
Yeah, yeah. Goal
Um,
is by Friday. We'll get it to everyone.
goal is by Friday. We appreciate you all coming. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you can do. And Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everybody. So cute.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.